to see if there were any questions for Mr. Bonner at this time.
Yeah, I had a couple issues or questions.
Okay.
And I thought, Mr. Bonner talked to me on the phone. The security issue, that's been, a couple of residents have asked me about the security. I've done a little research myself, and I guess there's security agencies, and there's a whole regime of requirements by the state on security, correct?
They've got it pretty well covered. Yeah, cameras, fences, vaults, transportation. They're pretty rigid restrictions, you know what I'm saying about that?
Yeah, so they're, so when they review the applications, they kind of have a rubric for the way they score it. And the thing they look at the most is the operation, how's that gonna work for them. The second most important thing is the security plan. And, some examples of things I've seen people do, and I think they'll be required in Ohio if you're gonna get a license. Every square inch of the place has gotta be covered by camera. And, there's an incredible amount of infrastructure that you can put in place just to record all that data. If an alarm goes off, or a motion sensor, or some other thing, or break-in, the local, the township police, the local police and sheriffs have to have the ability to immediately link into that video and be able to get it live streaming. And then you gotta store all that data, and it goes down to every person that walks in place, every employee. You have to store all that data for at least 30 days, and in case there's a reason they need to go back and review something. So, that's the surveillance end of it. From a physical security, we'll probably do something to the effect of, certainly surround the entire property in fence, with a gated entry, where you don't get in unless you've got either a biometric pass or a card. It probably won't be manned, 24/7. We've got that type of security. The other things that I've seen are motion detectors around the perimeter of the place, in addition to what I just said. So if somebody, if you're in off hours and you protrude past that, I think I liken it to like an invisible wall. So if you ran a transit, instead of running it this way, you run it this way. And if you protrude past through that, it detects it, sets the alarm off, and then everything goes from there. So it's a huge part of how they review the process. It's a big concern. So.
And the only other thing was, and Mr. Warren and I talked about it, was understand you're going to make application, and then if you get approved, then you have to purchase a license. And I understand it's like $20,000 and $180,000, very significant amount of money. My issue was the CRA. I was discussing the CRA at some point after you got approval.
We're talking about abatement now?
Yes, I'm talking about tax abatement.
I told you that's not an obstacle to doing this, but I don't want to back ourselves into a corner and say, a year from now somebody's going to say something. So I just assume leave the issue open. If we get a license, then we're open for discussion on it.
Well, my understanding is the trustees have to establish a time frame, and you're in the 1984 CRA, so you get 100%. So that's the question: is after you get application, if you get approval, we need to.
I'll say this to you folks: it's not. It's not an obstacle to doing this. Okay, the CRA or the abatement, some part of it. Ted said he's not against it, and I really believe that what I said to you folks last week is true. A small piece of the pie is better than no pie. Yeah. And I'll invite any one of you folks to take a ride over to Aurora or Streetsboro. And how do you think they got all that business? They got a tremendous tax base there. And they got it by offering people abatement and enticing them to come into the community, whether it be our business or somebody else's. I mean, that's what you guys are discussing now with the CRA. So it's a long-term thing. It might be 5 years or 10 years down the road when the full thing kicks in. But what do you got if you don't do it? And that's not a proposal to you. That's just, I'm saying, it just makes sense from the vision that you have for the community. And everybody's bitching about their taxes. I mean, anybody that's not, you look at all the signs around Crestwood for don't pass the levy. That's problem in this country, is the government's got all the money. And so, it's a way to bring business to the community.
Yeah, I'm not trying to ask you for anything, I'm just saying that at some point in time, the trustees are gonna have to review it and make a
We're
recommendation.
completely open for that.
Okay.
We're completely open. As I said, I think I said to all you guys, we're open to helping Ted Lysick with a drug coordinator for the school and supporting the township, besides the tax base, for whether it be protection or whatever it might be. But I just don't think we're ready. Joe and I discussed some type of tax for other communities have put on, some kind of square footage thing, but my lawyer told me that he doesn't think that you guys are actually authorized to levy a tax, so that's not a way we can do it, but I think we can talk through this thing and find a way to do it that's completely above board and supports the community. That's what we want to do.
As fiscal officer, I'd like to say, when the time comes, we'll still have use for the money.
I think you will.
Well said, David.
But, this thing is, I haven't figured out what the taxes are, but the taxes would be substantial. And the jobs, I see, I don't know, I see 50 jobs right off the bat in this place if we get the application.
And that was based on the 2 greenhouses initially.
Yeah, based on the operation that we were in, the amount of people I saw working in it. Yeah. I mean, that's doing the processing and the cultivation. I just know there was 50 people working in that place.
There's some good jobs too. I mean, if you look at it, and you think about, if I talk to some people and traveling around looking for people to work with on it, and there are good jobs for younger people and for older people. There's jobs working in the greenhouse. They're good. They're not minimum wage jobs. Most of these companies are starting people out at $12.50 or $13, and then you go up. There's a lot of office stuff. There's a lot of quality control stuff. There's a wide array of good jobs for it, and hope we can fill them all.
Well, there's highly skilled jobs too, besides that, for this pharmaceutical end.
Yeah.
There's breeding, there's hybridizing, there's just a lot of things in the processing and the extraction end.
Mr. Miller, do you have any questions? I'm sorry, Mr. Ross, do you have anything else?
I'm fine, thank you.
Okay. No, I don't. I've discussed this at length with Mr. Bonner, and we've gone around and around about it. I've looked at the whole situation. It's a legal business. It's a legitimate enterprise. It's could be one of our largest contributors to the township as far as our income is concerned. It's benefiting the school excessively, with them getting 56.7% of what the tax base is on that. So it's substantial for the school system as well. So I'd like to go ahead and put a motion on the table that we. I'd like to comment. I'm sorry, you had. Again, just to reiterate, it's for cultivation and processing only, not for recreational. It's not a dispensary. I think we covered that. I think it fits because it's already in the commercial section. So I think that, what you're going to put in there proposing fits with the rural landscape, and I saw some landscaping around there to dress it up a little bit. What I would look at is, I think what we're going to review would be for Mr. Bonner's application only, and it wouldn't be a blanket approval for everybody in the township. I think any future ones aside from Mr. Bonner should be addressed on a by-case scenario, based on your reputation as far as doing what you say you're going to do and in past history, Mr. Bonner. I just ask that you keep us posted as things progress.
Yeah, I don't know if there's anybody else applying I suppose if somebody was going to apply, I know somebody went to Freedom and asked them for a processor license. And that's the only, and originally, we thought about tying it into my daughter's greenhouse there or John's greenhouse, but this thing is so sophisticated and complex that it can't be intermingled with anything else. It's a completely standalone Fort Knox is what I would call it.
Sure. You've got 2 lots up there, Mr. Bonner. One is 42.5 acres, which I think where you indicated on your drawing. The other one is 29.4 acres. That's towards Adams Road. There's actually 2 lots there that are commercial.
Excuse me, I know they put stakes in the ground up there, Joe, and I know it's on the,
Yeah,
I don't know if it's on the 42 or on the 29, I don't even know.
On the 42, because it's south of your You're talking the driveway that goes to the old scale building, correct?
Yeah, but I'm trying to see where the lot line is down there, but isn't that whole section between Adams and Ely, isn't that commercial anyway?
No, the very corner, I believe, of Ely and 88 goes into residential.
You mean where that old house was?
Right,
Yeah,
right.
that's something that probably ought to be, I mean, there's never gonna be a house there anymore, but the rest of it is, so, you know, I don't know, John probably knows better than I do, what we have to provide them with, you know, proof of ownership and all that kind of stuff, or a purchase agreement or something, I don't know exactly how that's gonna be handled, but, all I can tell you is it'll be on that parcel, and this is what we're starting with, they're actually reviewing it, the builder is right now. So this thing could shift a few feet, but that's where it's planning on going right on top of that hill there, because there's actually a minimum amount of excavation up there. The only thing that could change that a little bit one way or the other would be if these guys come back and say, we want you to plan for 10 acres instead of, 5 acres that's there. So they might shift a little bit, or it may have to go out into that field farther, Joe.
Yeah, but you
So
got,
I would prefer that we left that block, if it would make a difference to you, just leave that block as,
I think,
Follow me?
yeah, what you're proposing is on that, appears to be on that 45 acre, 42 and a half acre lot. So it's south of your, almost in front of your, the old, scale building, I guess, right?
yeah, the building in the back is the scale building.
Yeah, so I thought
But
that's.
I'm not sure, they put a stake out there at the ditch, the surveyors did when they came and did this. So I'm sure that's on that parcel that
Okay.
goes over towards, Adams Road.
Okay, but regardless, it's all, that whole area is commercial
All
road, so.
commercial.
which is a good thing.
It's all commercial.
Mr. Bonner, it looks like the corner of the warehouse portion is about 121 feet from the ditch line. Now, the fence you mentioned, where would that be in relation to this? You're gonna have to have a buffer zone between the fence and your buildings?
Yeah, I'm sure we'll have to have a buffer zone, but I haven't got that far yet, to be honest with you. But I know it's gonna be fenced, it's gotta be fenced. What are you thinking about landscaping or?
Well, about 100 off the right away, is 100 feet?
100 foot off the road right away. He's 120.
With the building or the fence?
No, the building,
Okay.
fence, no.
All right.
So
You
you're
know,
good
if I
with
just say this real quick, and I talked to my father about it, when builders orient these things, they orient them a certain way to perfect north, so that's kind of why they started here. But we're putting some glass in here that, might allow it to tweak the orientation of the building a little, and that can help deal with that.
For sunlight and shadows, that's what he's referring to.
Okay. Any other questions or comments from the board? No, I think we're good. At this time, I want to open it up to the floor and see if anybody else has any questions for Mr. Bonner or the board. Okay. Okay. Mr. Leonard, you were gonna. Yeah, I'd like to put a motion on the table that we permit the cultivating and processing of medical marijuana up at those two lots, known as the Turkey Farm, lot number 25.00.00.00.012.033, which is a 42 and a half acres. And then we got the other lot 25.007.0026.012. And I guess there's nothing else I can add to that. I'd like to include in our resolution that it's for this applicant only. Yes. Any of the future ones would be reviewed by the board. I agree. And it would be for that area only.
And the board has a right to look at the CRA at some point.
Yeah, that's gonna be reviewed and whatever.
Okay.
Yes. So how do you want to amend that motion, Mr. Leonard? Just do like you just said about. You got that all? Okay. You got it? Okay, good. We need a second on that, I guess.
Who's second?
Second that motion.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Lundey, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Shaheen?
Yes.
Mr. Elias?
Yes.
Fine.
So, Joe, what's the process now then? It goes, you make a recommendation to your board and they,
The zoning commission, according to Mr. Madrid, talked to him today, that the zoning commission needs to put together a resolution to back up what we just did here. And just to clarify, it needs to go on the zoning, because right now it's considered prohibited, but since we've just passed it, they have to put a resolution together that it's gonna be accepted and
It's an amendment.
an amendment to whatever.
Amendment to our zoning
Okay, yeah,
resolution.
so,
making it a permitted use, is that?
Right.
yeah,
Okay.
But the action tonight
clarifies.
is not reversible.
Yeah,
You can freely go ahead without concern.
you're good to go.
You could apply.
That's what we need to do, because we, in all honesty, we really want to be in Nelson, that's where I want to be, is down here, not up in Middlefield or down in Freedom.
But again, of course, it's up to the state, obviously, as well.
Yeah, I mean, our odds are, I think,
It may not even happen.
1 in 30 or something like that of getting this done, but we're gonna give it a shot, so.
All right, well, thank you, sir.
I think all we got
Just
here.
real quick, what's the application process goes, it starts here in a couple of days, you got 5-6 weeks. Part of the application, you have to provide something that's affirmative that this amendment's passed, and that you think in that time frame we'll be able to get something that's
Well,
concrete.
I'll type up the
We'll
minutes.
get a copy of the minutes. and
We'll
maybe-
get a copy of the minutes in this resolution, and he'll certify that that's part of the resolution.
Would it be possible, Joe, to get some type of letter saying that you support this whole thing, that the community, the trustees, at least do?
Well, we can, but it's, once it's provided for in a minute, that's pretty much law right there.
Yeah, I just wondered if it might carry more weight with the state, because they
That's
want,
for endorsement.
they want people to be where they're wanted, we don't wanna be a shares go, where, people don't, so it's just a
Sure.
consideration you might think about. It might help us with the application process with
I would
help.
just see the letter including the resolution number, what the resolution states, and
Okay.
signed by the that'll work. township. Yeah, that works. Work for you?
Yeah. that's
Okay.
good.
Thank you.
Thank you.